Hey guys! Look, I'm not gonna drag this out. Video Brinquedo is a Brazilian animation studio known for making awful ripoff movies, or mockbusters as the kids say. They've made 9 of these so-called mockbusters, and I'm gonna be ranking all of them today. This isn't gonna be fun. Okay, some housekeeping rules before we begin. 1. This list only covers their blatant ripoff movies. They do have a bunch of fairy tale adaptations that will not count, as anybody can adapt fairy tales. They also have a single original film which also won't be counted, as it's not a mockbuster or adaptation of anything. 2. I will not be covering any of the sequels, because not only are they just a collection of shorts, but I couldn't even find most of them. So with all that out of the way, let's just get into it. I'm so excited.
Tell him, Megatron.
Do as I command!
Alright, everybody. Before we go to hell, there is actually one Brinquedo mockbuster that has some actual worth as a film. Yes! It's a movie that tries! It's a movie that actually wants to be a movie! What is that movie? Well, that of course is none other than Gladiatormers 2. A movie that's almost good? It's nothing great, of course, but you can feel there was real, genuine effort in this. There's cohesive plot progression, there's character development, there's arcs, there's plot twists. It builds on the first movie's themes and justifies its own existence with new lore. Though, don't get your hopes too high. It is still very much a Brinquedo movie. It has poor animation, obviously, is still occasionally boring, and is at times hard to follow. The dialogue is at its best here, and even then it's just decently good. Which describes the film as a whole pretty well in my opinion. It's decent. It's a neat little movie that is just kind of okay. No more, no less. Wow. There you have it. The absolute magnum opus of Video Brinquedo. And it's like a 6 out of 10 at best. Strap in, everyone, because things are far from over.
Yeah, baby! Your cooking sucks!
Okay, the runner-up for Video Brinquedo, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is Ratatouille. Yep, I'm just as shocked as you. Don't get me wrong, I definitely would not consider this movie good. It's still got questionable at best dialogue, terrible animation, and bare-bones plot progression. However, the reason I consider it to be among the most tolerable Brinquedo films is simply because of how damn entertaining it is. Whether it's the suit-up scenes, the other rats gallivanting around the human restaurant, all the hilarious slapstick during the heist scenes, banter from the customers, or Greg just being Greg, you're guaranteed to be laughing quite a few times. But even beyond that, it does feel like they almost tried to make a movie that was actually about something. God, the studio really is the bane of animation. If one of my biggest compliments for one of their best movies is that they almost tried. But yeah, it does bring a lot of thought-provoking ideas to the table, and in a way, it's kind of the anti-Ratatouille. I mean, Remy is clearly an artist, and food is the way he expresses his passion for art. Cooking is his paintbrush. He's a dreamer who lives out his dreams through the culinary world. Marcel Toing, on the other hand, is a different story. He could not give less of a fuck about cooking for artistic reasons. He just throws together whatever slop he can find because he knows the rats don't have any other options. To him, food is nothing more than a business venture. Which, intentional or not, is honestly really cool to think about. Making a foil to Remy in the form of someone who only views food commercially is kinda genius in a way. Both are two sides of the same coin, two entirely different definitions of what it means to be a cook. So yeah, there you have it. The only other decent Brinquedo movie. Still has the typical growing pains of a movie from the studio, but it's also kind of amazing and I love it. Never a dull moment with this, consistently funny, and has some decent food for thought. Don't get used to this, my friends. It's all very quickly downhill from here. I hope you all are ready!
What? Is that a bumblebee?
Next up, on our suffering-filled descent into madness, is Little B. A movie which is fine. Nothing more and nothing less. It's a passable film that only partially infuriates me. For the most part, it's white noise. It's inoffensive and cute. Something you'd probably throw on for a toddler to keep them busy for an hour. It, in a lot of ways, reminds me of Maya the Bee movie more than anything. Almost as if this is just a worse version of Maya the Bee. It's got an occasional musical number, some admittedly interesting critiques on class structure and challenging the status quo, and in general has a strong and heartwarming be yourself message. Also, side note, you all seriously need to watch Maya the Bee movie. It's an actual overlooked masterpiece, and it'll be worth your time way more than this mid-ass movie. Anyway, what is Little Bee even about, you might ask? Well, the main character, Beanard, who, might I add, has the same voice actor as Ash Ketchum. Usually same voice actor moments don't bother me that much, but I literally could not get over hearing Ash's voice in this. Beanard is a soldier, but he wants to be a honey maker. So he makes a new, amazing honey recipe that appeases the humans and saves the hive, which everyone else should be overjoyed about, right? No. In fact, the only logical course of action for the queen to take is, of course, charging him with high treason for making honey as a soldier and banishing him from the hive. What? I understand movies aren't going to be shitting rainbows all the time, but this is just ridiculous. It just fucking ignores all semblance of logic for the sake of a false conflict. Legitimately terrible writing, dog. Holy shit. Anyway, somehow he convinces the queen he's innocent and they all ride off into the sunset together or something. Don't know, don't care. This is one of their better movies and I'm already this upset. You have no idea what we have coming up.
Robots in disguise.
Gladiformers is a film that admittedly had a lot going for it. It had an interesting premise, a decent setup, and a world I wanted to learn more about. Unfortunately though, they fumbled the bag hard with this one because oh my gosh, it's so boring! This one was genuinely exhausting to watch. There's no downtime between the robot fights, no lore in between, no comedy, it just goes and goes and gets old fast. Two robots fight, they exchange some vague hogwash about dishonor and fighting fair. Then occasionally one of them might share a piece of their backstory. Then they die at the hand of the other robot. That's it. Repeat that 15 times for over an hour and you've got Gladiformers, parentheses 2007. Really sucks, man. More than any Brinquedo film, this one just disappointed me. Because there is a good movie in here. There's an interesting and unique story, but they just have to fuck up everything they ever touch, I guess. Whatever. Really cool idea that unfortunately was not left in the best hands. It's fine. Let's just move on.
We're going on a trip in our favorite piece of shit. Doing 95. We're gonna fucking die.
The Little Cars and the Great Race was Video Brinquedo's very first mockbuster. The very start of them laying siege to the cinematic world. This is where things start getting actively torturous to sit through. This is very boring and slow to watch, the dialogue is awful, and the side characters are flat and uninteresting. And I feel like this is a Brinquedo movie that suffers from low budget rather than relishes in it. Most of the other movies here feel like they want to be low budget on purpose. This one, however, feels like it really was just a victim of limited resources. I would almost feel bad for it if the resulting product wasn't mostly mediocre. For the most part, The Little Cars is sterile. It's a typical bad movie full of what you'd expect out of the studio. Although the villain was cool, the way he sabotaged the other race car by putting diesel in his engine was admittedly a tad creative, and I laughed at some of the jokes. Although that's mainly me laughing at how bad they were, not because they were actually funny. So those things saved the movie from being complete ass, but I mean, you can't really polish a turd. That was the last tolerable movie. Everything from this point on either actively pisses me off, or makes me wish I was getting the Brazen Bull instead of watching it.
It's not even the real film. It's some mockbuster from the bargain bin.
What's wrong with how to rat-a-twang your panda?
Oh man, the little panda fighter fucking sucks, bro. The first movie here that I can confidently call just straight up bad. There's little redeeming qualities, but I just put it here because it wasn't as atrocious as the other movies coming up. I mean, for starters, the plot is just terribly executed. It hinges on a lie to reveal plot, but then that plot never goes anywhere because the one who was lying, Mr. Polaris, which, by the way, is actually a fire-ass name for a polar bear. But anyway, when the lie is exposed, he just retires on his betting money and flees town. So there was never any stakes or reasons for us to care about the story. And the side plot, with the main character wanting to become a dancer, also just kinda dissolves out of the movie after a certain point. He goes to the tryouts and then, I don't know bro, it's never mentioned again. Even though this movie definitely has a plot, it almost feels like it doesn't because of how nothing that happens in the story has any weight or stakes to it. There's no reason to care about anything because the film itself doesn't care about anything. Also, man, we are really getting into when they just stop trying at all with the animation. I mean, look at the backgrounds in the opening. Okay, now I'm about to lose my sanity for real with these next movies. Wish me luck, guys.
Squidward! The robots are running the Navy!
Tiny Robots is bad. Like, astonishingly bad. I wasn't expecting it to be this awful. First of all, the animation is at an all-time low here. The worst it's ever been, even by Brinquedo standards. For starters, I mean, just look at the backgrounds! Actually, who am I kidding? What backgrounds? They just wander through a fucking barren wasteland. This looks like a Roblox game by some kid just throwing assets around. Wait, should I go there? Yeah, I should. This is on par with a Pamtree video. Side note, do you guys even remember Pamtree? But, yeah, take a look at the average in a nutshell video and then look at Tiny Robots. Seems pretty similar, right? Also, the character animations are just abysmal. Half of them either don't move at all, or just awkwardly twitch like they're writhing in pain and begging to be put down. Which, I really wish I could do, because every character in this movie deserves to die! Let me put it to you another way. Do you see these videos currently on screen? Yeah, well, these were animated in 1972. The literal first 3D animated thing ever made, and it's done with more style, passion, and overall quality than this piece of fucking ass. How do you even manage that? And oh boy, don't even get me started on the quote-unquote characters. I say that because these aren't characters, these are things at best. They're just vague entities without personality that just meander around and learn nothing. And that's my biggest issue with so many of these movies. Nothing ever changes. There's no character arcs, no developments, no reason for the plot to ever happen, because the characters have zero growth throughout any of them. They're just mindless creatures that fumble through these hellish worlds without any goals or purpose in their miserable lives. This barely counts as a movie in my opinion, because movies have themes, movies have messages, and you know, artistic purpose! This has none of that, and I don't even like saying this, but this feels AI generated. It's literally like an algorithm tried to understand what a movie was and then shat out this poor excuse of a film. Completely and utterly worthless. But you wanna know the worst part? Brinquedo has still made worse movies than this!
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Alright, I'm gonna keep this part as brief as I can. The runner-up for the biggest pile of dogshit video Brinquedo has ever produced is... What's Up? Balloon to the Rescue. Their final mockbuster ever, actually. Released in 2009, it was marketed as an Up ripoff, but honestly it's more of a Monsters vs. Aliens ripoff than anything. The main reason this one is so low, and why many people consider it the worst, is because of just how flagrant and spiteful it is. It's so in your face about everything, like it wants to offend and infuriate you on purpose. Every line of dialogue is rage-inducing, every joke unfunny, and every character a vague and hollow archetype. Tiny Robots technically had worse animation, but in this one, there's just literally zero effort. The magazine effect in the beginning kept going long after the narrator had stopped talking, and when the French dude walked in, they didn't add an outside texture, so it just looked like he was coming from another part of the house. The monster fights happen in the background while two other characters talk in the foreground, and the whole thing is over in seconds. Most of it takes place in the sky, so they didn't have to worry about rendering backgrounds. I think you get it by now. I could continue by talking about the blatant racism, or how every scene of this movie feels lab-grown to be as insulting as possible, but how long does that really need to go on for? Everyone with even vague knowledge of the studio knows the reputation of What's Up. Most of you know how awful this movie is. But there is one crucial factor. Despite how atrocious What's Up is, at the end of the day, it's a nothing experience that doesn't stick with you. You'll forget it after a few days, and all of its pain will be cleared from your system. The next movie, however, is not nothing. It doesn't even give you the common courtesy of having no staying power and being easily forgotten about. The bottom spot on this list eats away at your sanity. It makes you feel like you too are being pulled into a black hole, watching good movies disappear past the event horizon as you fall further into the empty void. Whenever you guys are ready, let's move on to the worst.
I'm fucking done! Fuck you! 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 I'm done!
Join me as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. For we have finally reached the point of no return. The absolute bottom of the barrel garbage. I flirted with the idea of calling What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue the worst Brinquedo movie. For all of its blatant racism and the way it's almost spitefully bad. But even then, I just couldn't, in good faith, put it below this next film. This next movie is demonic. It's atrocious. From a filmmaking perspective, it makes me sick. Every character is even more hideous. Every scene, borderline unwatchable. Now, what film could possibly be worse than What's Up and earn the title of the worst Brinquedo film? Glad you asked, because that movie is none other than the film that What's Up was a sequel to. Little and Big Monsters. This movie is dreadful. This movie is painful to watch. No, I am genuinely serious. This movie caused me real physical pain. I felt exhausted after watching it. I felt a burden on my soul as if I had just returned from my job as an executioner. Which, by the way, is the fate everyone who had any part in this movie deserves. Execution. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but I don't care. What is this movie even about anyway? Well, that's a great question, because it's about absolutely nothing! As always, this movie amounts to fuck all in the end because not one person in this so-called studio has any fucking idea on how to properly structure a movie. Things just happen in it. It's initially a lie reveal type of story, but then that plotline just dissipates from the movie and is never brought up again. They all just move on and continue like nothing even matters because it doesn't. Nothing in these movies ever matters. And oh my god, these characters are abysmal. Professor Krupp is honestly deranged. He's sporadic and unpredictable, not giving anything a chance to happen before he flips his lid and has a tantrum. Like, when they first got the signal from the alien, he threw a fit like a child because he didn't get the exact message he wanted, even though he got a message from the aliens at all, which is what he wanted. And on top of that, he's racist and just overall a bit of an asshole. And not even a funny asshole at that. He's just a terrible person and he never changes, nor does anyone else. Gupta, or whatever this kid's name is also insufferable. He's a whiny brat who causes me a great deal of pain to witness on screen and is legitimately hard to stomach. Get this thing out of my sight! That's not all though, because the animation is genuinely detestable here. The characters just twitch around and do random actions, like take the scene in the diner for example, where the kid I can't remember the name of is talking. What is he even doing here? This is like a default dance on Go Animate. Also, part of their bodies will just clip through each other, the movement in general is a buggy mess, and holy crap, the texturing and backgrounds are virtually non-existent. Look at the alien egg the kid picks up. That's literally a green void. It has no texturing or rendering at all. Just a massive 3D space that they slapped into the scene. The monsters are also horrific. Only half of their body is even moving at a time. Pixar's Tin Toy was animated better than this, and that was 40 years ago! Last but not least, this one just genuinely got on my nerves. It makes so many baffling plot choices. Like, okay, they see a giant monster attacking the city, and then decide to just go to the movies like nothing happened? And at the end, it's revealed there's another monster attacking a library. How did that even happen? Where did that thing come from? Also, the monster's weakness is revealed to be salty food. So let me ask you this, Mr. Science Guy. Why didn't you use your salt gun that you used on your breakfast in the beginning of the movie? You had the solution the whole time! A device specifically designed to be useful in this situation! Unbelievable, man. Also, one last thing. The robo thing that Professor Doodoo-Ass has is just the exact same model from Tiny Robots. That's just lazy, man. But I guess I should expect nothing less from this piece of fucking ass. This movie is nothing. It serves zero purpose. It contributes absolutely nothing to the world. You would have had more fun laying at the grass and looking at the clouds. Fuck this, man. The only, and I mean only reason this is a 1 out of 10 instead of a flat fucking 0 is because Amanda is tolerable. That's it. The one non-horrific piece of this movie is that one and only one of the characters has the decency to just be white noise instead of one that pisses me off and makes me want to drink what's under my sink. Don't watch this. Don't watch any of these damn movies. Okay, well, Ratatouille and the Gladiator's movies are alright, so yeah, they're fine. What's Up is horrendously racist and borderline aggressive and in your face with how it presents itself, but at the end of the day, it's just nothing. Something that you'll forget the next day. Little and Big Monsters, however, does not give you that grace. It lingers in your mind and soul, eats away at you and makes you wonder what's the point of filmmaking if products like this are allowed to exist. It's malevolent. It's vile. It's ungodly. It's... Words escape me at this point. I think you get it by now. Congratulations, Little and Big Monsters, for being the worst movie to ever come out of Video Brinquedo, and one of the worst animated movies I've ever seen in my life. This was torture. I knew this was gonna be rough to get through, but holy shit, I was genuinely in fear I'd even survive this video at certain points. But, yeah, Video Brinquedo is ass. Pure, unfettered trash. Jeez, whose idea was this? Oh right, it was mine. The Smile arc will be continuing soon. I just got sidetracked with a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and I've got another much more positive ranking video coming out after this that I'm actually really proud of, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys next time. Peace!